Okay. I'm trying to figure out my technology, so I don't know if I'm doing this quite right. Let me see. Sorry, guys. I am playing with some new broadcast software, and it seems like I have a delay, and so I don't know if it's working the right way or not, guys. All right. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and keep moving forward because that's kind of my nature, and hopefully it works out. If not, I'll delete the video and we'll try again. But welcome to Friday. So I'm going to celebrate that I'm figuring out technology that I need to figure out, and hopefully it works. But I'm always kind of proud of myself when I manage to kind of enter a new territory, and that's what I'm doing here. So I promised, well, I didn't promise. Okay, I posed a question earlier this week in the group. What if motivation is actually a lack of cell energy? And what I wanted to kind of impress upon you is that that's a real possibility. In fact, I know it's the truth, but I want you to kind of consider, what is motivation anyway? Because a lot of you commented, this is a big problem. A lot of people are really finding that they're suffering from a sense of low motivation. And what I know to be true is that leads a lot of people to think that they're flawed. Well, how sucky is that? I mean, there's no better word for it. Sorry for the sort of bad use of English, but the truth is that if you're walking through life and you're thinking like, this is me, I'm flawed. Gosh, if I just had the motivation to get off the couch and run, 2 miles a day, I would be stronger, I would be faster, I would be better off. But you guys, that's just not the way it works. You're not flawed. First of all, you didn't not get the circuitry that somebody else got. I know that there are tons of people who are, in fact, presenting to the world like they've got it all together, and they're doing their CrossFit and they're drinking their bulletproof and they're like, oh, I feel great. It's amazing. I'm fantastic. I can't believe how great I am. But the truth is that they don't have a higher dose of motivation. They actually are usually just more used to running off of stress response. So to them, it's a much more comfortable place. And it's not motivation, because a lot of those people lack motivation to do things of a heartfelt nature or of a spiritual nature or of relational things, having real connections to other humans. And so you might find in their life that they lack motivation to do other things. And so what is this motivation? There's actually, what is the dictionary definition is like a general desire or the reason why we do something. I think that's kind of crap, because again, it falls back on, oh, you just don't have the desire. I know lots of people who are exhausted and been tired for a long time, and they have lots of desire for what the world could offer them, but they're not experiencing life through that lens. Why? Well, what if the ability to enact the desire comes from the tangible aspects of ourselves? What if it's rooted in that? I mean, what if we can't possibly have this full experience of healing and power and vitality and joy if our cells can't go with us? What if we can't really enact the new plans to their fullest if our cells can't go with us? Now, I'm not going to say that's a hard, fast rule, because I will get that there's a lot of very exhausted, very successful people out there. I will still counter that they're likely failing in some part of their life, and it may very well be their body. It's not a fault of theirs. Again, I'm not laying blame, but I am pointing out that there's a consequence to all of this. So if our thyroid can't participate and send messages, if our adrenals can't participate and send messages, or if the cells say, that's great that you sent the message, I'm not going to play along with you, what happens is we can't then have an experience where we enact the messages. Now, what are these messages? Well, tangibly, you guys, the messages are they're actually biological responses. And those biological responses are the impetus to do things, or the creativity to have a spark of something new, or the ability to have the physical energy to enact that plan. It's not just in your head. It's not just that you didn't get a good dose of something in your family lineage. It's not just that you didn't read the right self-help book. Motivation is a tangible entity. What you need to really get, which I try to impart to you guys, but I have this beautiful map of the body in my mind where the body is, I swear to God, it's multidimensional, because otherwise, how can we explain the dynamic things it does? It's not just bits and pieces with substrates that fill in the holes in the reactions. It's not just organs. It's not just cells. It's much more broad and big and dynamic than that. And I think the problem is that when we reduce it to its component parts, excuse me, we can't find the place where motivation resides. So we go back and we say, well, it's in your head. But it's an actual experience. So the more inflamed you are, the more likely inflammation might lag. The more your thyroid's off, the more your adrenals are off, the more that your nervous system is stuck on go all the time, the more that your stress response is hyper elevated. These are all reasons why your motivation is going to lag. Now, people are all saying, well, how do I fix it? There isn't a one path. I know you want a one path, but I can't give you one, because it all depends on how you're stuck. How are you stuck? You know, what's the mechanism there? Why is your body not able to participate? Is it because you've been driving too hard for the last 20 years? Is it because you have a history of trauma that needs to be unwound? Is it because your gut is inflamed and you're not digesting? Is it because that's also taking place in the context of weak hormonal systems? Because the other thing, you guys, is that none of this happens in isolation. You can't just treat one system and expect the rest of it to come along for the ride. They're all in constant communication. One is weak, they're all weak. And it happens pervasively like this. So first of all, I just want you to leave this little chat going, oh my God, it's not my fault. Because it's not. It's not your fault. You just, however you frame it, I just want you to finish your day going, it's not my fault. And then I want you to really pay attention to the fact that there are solutions, but they might be a bit more involved than some of you realize. That's okay. There isn't a self-help book you can read that's going to get you all your motivation back. There isn't one remedy you can take that's going to repair all the cell damage. But it is possible. And here's the big news. It's bigger than that one word, motivation. When you get to that filled up space, you could throw that word out the window because it doesn't even count. Because then it's life on purpose. It's life from a place of soul-fed joy and spirit and the way that we're supposed to live. That's what it is. So if you want that, reach out to me. But reach out to me too if you're like, I'm just done having no motivation. Guys, we can't live lives like this, because then we end up running on fumes and we keep feeling like it's our fault. It's not our freaking fault. So no matter what you do, take that to heart. And when someone says you have no motivation, you can look at them and say, it's not about the motivation. At least give them that, because you're all so beautiful and you're all divine, and you're all the creator, you know, God, the universe has blessed you all to be here for a reason. And I know some of you feel like your years are being whittled away by being so tired and being so worn out. And I get it. But I do want you to compassionately hug yourself and understand that this freaking world, like the way that it operates, the intensity, the nonstopness, like the bad food, the toxicity, that's what got you here. And you don't have to stay here. It is possible to heal, and you deserve it. All right? All right, blessings, guys. I don't know how to stop it.